The vlog from today is some sort of challenge, and the idea is, can you do a good photo using cheap lenses, cheap camera body and no filters? Of course that this concept of having cheap gear is very different from person to person, and for me personally I will use the cheapest and the oldest gear that I have. So there's going to be a Canon 50D, and the lens is going to be a 10 to 18 millimeter lens. It's a $270 lens. So, and of course no filters. Because of the wide angle of this lens, I will use it on waterfalls. You probably hear some sort of roar, and that is because of the waterfall over there. First of all, before we begin, I want to explain what this saying means. What this saying that you can do good photos no matter the gear, and still the person that says it has the best gear on the market or has a good camera and good lenses. I want to explain what I think this means. And secondly, this vlog is going to be divided. It's going to be first the shooting part, and then we're going to cut off and I will get home and take a look at the photos on a computer. You probably heard this many times from bigger photographers, that it's not about the gear, it's about the photographer, or it's not about the gear, you can do a good photo no matter the gear. And yet that person uses, for example in my case, full frame body and L lenses and filters and all sorts of things. And I recently received a comment from a person on YouTube that was saying basically this, that I'm saying this but I'm using top equipment and I'm basically full of shit. So I decided first of all to explain what I think this saying means, and then of course trying to get a good photo by using a Canon 50D and a 10 to 18 millimeter lens from Canon that costs about $270, and I think everyone can afford. First of all, let's agree that we can all have different opinions on the same matter, and because photography is an art, this doesn't mean that my opinion is good and yours is bad, or vice versa. Secondly, let's all agree that having the best gear that there is on the market right now will produce a better photo technically. And I want to emphasize this word technically. This means you'll have better sharpness, better dynamic range, you'll have details in the shadows, details in the highlights, you'll have sharpness on the entire size of the photo, you'll have low noise. And we can all agree on that. But still, we look at old photos by great photographers and we still consider them good. And that is because having the best gear on the market doesn't affect the way you see composition, the way you pick your subjects, the way you choose your light moments, the way you position yourself in relation to the subject and the light, the way you expose, the way you edit your photo. And all these other elements, I think, that make a good photo stand out. And there's a quote from Ansel Adams that says there's nothing worse than a good technical photo of a fuzzy concept. And basically he's saying that a photo can be good, can be sharp, can have all those elements, but if the photo is about nothing, if it has no composition at all, then it has no value. And I think this is the idea, and this saying is more oriented towards photographers that think that they need to have the best gear on the market in order to succeed, in order to do a good photo. And this is like saying, forget about the gear, just go out and photograph and learn composition, learn how to frame things, learn how to do better photos, and after that you will go and get the best equipment on the market. Now, another thing, why I'm using L lenses and full frame bodies and all the other photographers do, it's because we are also involved in commercial work, and if you want to do commercial work you have to do what the market demands, and this is photos that have a certain technical quality besides having an artistic value, and this is something that you can't escape. But today I will try to use, as I said, my Canon 50D and the Canon 10 to 18 millimeter lens. right now we are near a creek and the noise is absolutely phenomenal. And this is because the snow is melting away up in the mountains, and the flow of the water, it has such an impressive look. So I'll try to get as close as possible, but the rocks are really wet, it's really slippery. I need to be extra careful to make sure I don't end up in the water, but it's spectacular. I think it's time to pack our gear and go home and put the photos on a bigger screen. Right now I'm home, and as you can see we are in Lightroom. We are looking at a photo that it's not edited. I will hit reset for you just to be completely sure about that. I've selected only one because I think this is the purpose of this discussion. First of all, the dynamic range was pretty decent. The day didn't have extreme necessities. I didn't have to expose for really dark shadows or really bright highlights, so it worked okay. Now as you can see, nothing, it's just maybe here just a teeny weeny place underexposed, but it's not a big problem, and in terms of highlights everything is preserved. Now I decided to show you the unedited photo first and then the edited one. Now let's take a look at 100%. This is how it looks at 100%. Of course some minor fringes over here, and this is something very common, but let's take a look first of all right here, almost in the center. The sharpness, it's pretty decent. I think it's quite okay, I think. Now the problems, as you can see, are starting to appear here in these corners, but it's because of the lens. But other than that, I'm pretty satisfied with the quality of the image, the technical quality of the image. The composition, I think it's okay. Now let's take a look also at the edited image. As you can see, I've boosted up the shadows, I got rid of the fringes, I also brought back some details in the water. So as you can see, everything holded perfectly. I don't have anything bad to say. And if you are interested more in photo editing and how I edit my landscapes, in the description of this video there's a link with my editing courses. If you're interested, click it and you'll see there all the details. Okay, so here you have it. I think this challenge was pretty interesting and was also pretty useful because, in my opinion, using a Canon 50D and a Canon 10 to 80mm lens, it's cheap gear, and I think the photo looked decent from a technical aspect and okay from the composition and picking the subject. It's very important, I think, to pick your subject according to the camera gear that you are using. This is one of the most important things, I think, because in many situations you tend to do photos that are not let's say the perfect photos for your gear. If you're having an old camera, then the noise is going to be really high if you are boosting your ISO. So if you're using really wide lenses, then don't shot landscapes that have your subject really far away. So there are small things that you can pay attention to and that can help you get a better photo. Also, I think it's better that I've explained what this claim that you can do good photos with no matter the camera gear means to me. So thanks for watching. Hope you'll subscribe. Bye bye. Keep on photographing because it's the only way that you can get better. And that's it.